Good morning, Seoul. I hope you had a great time yesterday at the conference. I hope you had a great time last night at the party. And today we're really excited to talk about a lot of the technology challenges that we're innovating on, and also the amazing work the ecosystem has done. I'm Avery, co-founder and CTO at Aptos Labs. At Aptos, Web3 is something we believe will fundamentally change the way we think about the new economy. It's not just about building the best infrastructure in the world. It's about thinking about the use cases of that infrastructure to support new areas. Finance, DeFi, advertising, marketing are all unexplored areas of how Web3 can transform the way we think about commerce today. And we'll be going through a lot of that in today's talk. We'll also walk through about our journey through the infrastructure, how we thought about the challenges that Bashar just described as being roadblocks into what that adoption can be, and how we've overcome them, and how we believe now is a time that Web3 can support those 5 billion internet users that are desperately needing a path to decentralization. We'll also walk through how we think about the way that we're going to change the relationship between brands and consumers, how we can transform all of that through new products and experiences that we're really proud to talk about. Stablecoins, CBDCs, yield-bearing stables are all things that governments around the world are starting to investigate at a very deep level, with more than 30 countries already piloting or thinking about piloting these use cases. It is clear that the next generation of Web3 applications are going to leverage all of these as base layer infrastructure technologies to transform all of these different industries. Visa moved more than $15 trillion of value in 2023. Every day, equities are traded at $500 million a day. There's a massive opportunity for us to transform the way all of this money movement happens in Web3 and beyond. And so as we start to think again about how do we get that relationship between brands and consumers, how we think about payments for B2B, for C2B, from P2P, as the core infrastructure of building the next generation applications, from DeepIn to AI and to others, we're going to be focusing a lot on building vertical integrations and solutions up the stack going forward into the future. So let's talk about the past, the present, as well as that future. Back in 2022, a small team of us assembled in Palo Alto and quickly raced in 8 months to launch the most decentralized network ever. It was a really exciting time for us, also built on a lot of the learnings that we had within Diem and Libra. And back thinking about Diem and Libra, we had a big vision of how to support payments and remittances for billions of Facebook users. But at Aptos, we get to expand upon that mission to a much fuller extent, thinking about a broader ecosystem of participation that is not constrained to just one platform and one application. In 2023, we saw a massive adoption of Move, with hundreds of developers, all of you, starting to build out innovative applications in finance, in media entertainment, in gaming, in social, and many other avenues that we hadn't expected, such as AI. We've had a lot of great feedback from the ecosystem and helped us to innovate on exciting new technologies, such as block STM, our consensus protocols, pipelined execution, dynamic parallelism, and of course, Move. We've been also very pleased to see that so much of these technologies have been adopted by the industry across different technologies as L1s, L2s, and beyond. And that shows us that not only can we help build amazing communities in Aptos, we can actually uplift all of Web3 to support the needs of the internet. In 2024, we feel like we've really solved a lot of the core infrastructure problems, and we'll walk through that in a bit. Our new focus has been, how do we think about the high-performance finance stack? And there's a lot of work we're doing today to hit those goals. Sasha talked about a lot of them yesterday. How do we think about privacy with confidential token transfers? New innovations such as Block STM v2 and Raptor, which are going to even take what we have already and push those boundaries even further. But we're also going to start to build out and up the stack in the innovative spaces that can transform the economies of the future. And this is where we are very, very excited to introduce something brand new. We want to change the way that consumers and brands communicate more effectively. And to do that, we need amazing products that help those brands to develop the products that they want without worrying about the infrastructure needs and complexities of blockchain. So with that, let's play a video, Jake. Here's an example with our partner toy makers. For those of you who have not seen the toy makers booth out there, I highly advise that you go and see it. There's amazing experiences of how you think about phygital companies, the representation of both digital and physical objects that can be connected through Web3. And toy makers has been amazing in trying to build out this new experience for fans that help them engage with their products beyond just the physical realm. They're able to access new experiences and understand how they can now connect and pass through coupons and exclusive events directly through their Web3 platform. Toymakers is an amazing partner for us, and they've been able to build out a product which really exemplifies that loyalty is not just the way we think about it in a traditional sense. Web3 enables us to have direct client-to-consumer interaction, enabling that new experience that just isn't possible in today's existing world. Let's talk about how Aptos Build can help them. If you want to mint a collection of 10,000 NFTs, typically you'd have to do it through a CLI, you'd have to write some scripts, some code. Not anymore. With Aptos Build, you log onto the website, you can create 10,000 NFTs with a click of a button. Super easy to manage, and this is exactly how toy makers can easily connect their digital experiences to the physical ones. No code required. Now, when it comes to loading your website or accessing that data, we have APIs available for you in many different forms. We have Node APIs, we have Indexer APIs, we have NFT APIs, and Toymaker uses the NFT APIs to easily build out the support for their website. So as you saw in the video earlier, as you click through those links on your mobile phone, that backend is powered by the NFT APIs that Aptos Build is providing today. And not only that, you can easily monitor your usage of those APIs. So as Toymaker starts to see their traction grow with every single NFT drop, with every single new digital plushie release, such as deadmau5, they can check the traffic there and verify that their consumers are growing the way they expect, and start to then understand also that engagement between the NFTs, physical and digital, which we're really excited about. Now, Toymaker is also just only the beginning. We've got engagement with a ton of different companies who are very, very excited about understanding how digital loyalty, commerce and advertising, and marketing can actually help their customers, help their brands to connect more closely with them. And they're super excited to explore how to get the value for each of their different use cases going forward. Toy makers themselves have an amazing lineup of new customers coming in and a new pipeline of plushies, so definitely keep an eye out for those and talk to them at the booth if you want to see more. As we think about building for the future, it is really important to also understand where we are today. Aptos is a leader in cost, latency, and scalability. And when it comes to technology, we don't stop pushing, as we heard about yesterday from Sasha. But I want to show you some of the numbers so you can understand it for yourselves. This is the average transaction cost during August from the Artemis dashboards. As you can see, Aptos transactions are the lowest by far, at about 1/10 of a cent on average. Additionally, when you think about payments, Aptos is about 5/1000ths of a cent for a single payment. That's 20,000 transactions for $1. It's essentially free. And this is essential if you want to think about how low-cost, high-performance finance can transform the digital world. It's not just about cost, though. It's got to be an amazing, quick user experience. If we want to support micropayments, streaming payments, autonomous payments, you have to have amazing finality times. This dashboard here shows the finality times for some of the key networks. Now, you want to note the logarithmic scale. It's the only way we could fit the hour of Bitcoin along with the sub-second latency of Aptos. When we think about that user latency, it's really important to also think about the metric we're using, which is the time when the user submits a transaction to what the time they see the receipt of that transaction through their application. There are many pieces of latency in between of that, such as the consensus time, the execution time, the time from a full node to disperse that back. But what users care about is, when do I finally see the result of that transaction shown to me? The average web page loads in 2.5 seconds. And at under a second, well under a second, it's very easy for you to add Aptos Web3 integration into your product without disrupting the user experience. And that's very important if we want to see those 5 billion internet users adopt Web3. It's not enough that it'd be the cheapest, the fastest. We've got to support the scale of today and tomorrow's finance use cases. In December of 2023, feels like ages already, we ran a preview net with the latest version of the Aptos code, something you can do yourselves. The code's out there, it's verifiable, it's replicatable. And what we were able to see is we could run 2 billion transactions in a single day. 2 billion payment transactions in a single day. And if we compare that to the existing networks, we see MasterCard at about 479 million transactions in 2023, Visa at 734 million transactions in 2023, and at 2 billion transactions in a single day, Aptos can do more than all credit card processors combined. It's not just about how we can produce data also in a tested environment. This has been demonstrated in mainnet. Aptos today holds the top 3 records for daily transactions in mainnet to date. Most recently, on August 17th, we saw 326 million transactions in a single day. That averages out to about 3,700 transactions a second over a 24-hour period. Most impressively, though, there was no change in success rates. They remained high. The gas fees remained low. And there was no disruption in user behavior. All the other applications worked perfectly fine. And the question that's been asked very often and very fairly in Web3 is, what happens at scale? We have seen networks that have fallen over when you saw massive mean point workloads in the hundreds of transactions per second. We have seen other situations where there might be a massive blip in submissions of transactions that causes others to fall out of memory and run over as well. It is really important for any enterprise, for any builder that's serious about user experiences, that their network doesn't fall over, especially at load, when their application becomes very popular. And so here I really want to show you exactly how Aptos is built differently. Jake, can we play the video? So this video here shows you recently, there was a spike to 5,000 transactions per second about last week in the Aptos network, which is a massive amount of traffic. That's more than all other networks combined. At the same time, on the right screen, you'll see that we're able to execute transactions in Petra, our wallet, to be able to move money from one place to another at about 1.5 seconds, 3 times consecutively in a row. What this should show you is that even with the largest amount of transaction volume in any mainnet and all mainnets combined, Aptos is able to sustain that workload easily, continue processing, and support the user experience everybody expects from a high throughput shared infrastructure. This proof point is the first of its kind in Web3. And we're really excited to be able to share this with you and show you now that infrastructure is kind of a solved problem. We are ready to onboard the masses and support that final mission of how do we think about money movement, transformation, and finance going forward. So as I recap today, we believe that infrastructure at Aptos is already world-class and ready for the largest workloads. We've talked about how we do that in cost, latency, as well as scale. We're super excited about the new innovations coming forward to push those boundaries even further with Raptor, with Block STM v2 as well. And we're going to think about how privacy can change the way that finance is done in today's existing world. We've also shown you that scale isn't a problem, and the user experience can be really, really well performant with lots of different applications operating at the same time. In this conference alone, we've got hundreds of ecosystem partners building. If all of you go ahead and throw tons of traffic at it, Aptos will be fine. You have the best team of engineers and researchers here to support you and to make sure that everything goes according to plan. And so on this final day of the Aptos Experience, there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot of great talks coming forward with the ecosystem. There's a great party tonight, obviously. And we're we're really pleased to have all of you here. Thank you very much for your time, and let's move.